These 4 things will lead to more winning. We just had a competition camp, and I gave this advice to these athletes, and I thought I would share it here. Number 1, emphasize winning in practice. Too often it's like we have a phrase, I've mentioned it here, I'm sure. Just because you're hot, tired, and sweaty doesn't mean you got better at wrestling. Sure, probably a little bit better, but you should be focusing on winning every takedown. If you don't, you get up, you think about it, you get back in there, right? On the way home, you're thinking about, okay, who did I wrestle today? What happened? How come Jonathan keeps getting to my right leg? How come I can't hold so-and-so down? Think about it, evaluate, maybe take notes. Hopefully you have a wrestling notebook. You take you make a note, you take it back tomorrow, you ask your coach. If you can't find the answer there, you find the answer somewhere. You find a way to keep people off your right leg and to be able to hold them down if that was your 2 issues. Now, within 1 week, you're beating those 2 kids rather than just saying, well, eventually, if I just keep putting in the time, I will beat them. It doesn't work that way. Sure, you might, and that's where you get tricked, because you think that if you keep putting in time, you're going to get better and beat people that you once could not. Well, actually, you can beat them 3 years ahead of schedule. You should have fixed these 2 issues. It should have taken 3 or 4 days to fix these 2 issues. Instead, those 2 kids, it took you 2 years to beat them, right? So really emphasize winning and evaluate your practices, because you can practice winning. And you're not just practicing winning. When you don't win, you're going back to the drawing board and you're self-evaluating. And so then you are what? You're practicing the problem solving. Now you're developing a new skill. You probably don't even do that, right? You probably only evaluate your losses if you're going to have a right before the rematch. You should evaluate your losses right after the match. You should evaluate your wins. If you got 32 takedowns today or this weekend and you gave up 3, you should evaluate that. Even the kids you teched. Now, obviously, if they're terrible and they're just brand new and they fell down, we don't worry about it. But if you beat a good wrestler by 8 points, hey, let's look back. Let's see how I could have done better. So constant evaluation, immerse yourself in your own performance and practice winning, practice problem solving. Number 2, become a master leg rider. Right, we've talked about that on here before. Nothing will help you like leg riding. It helps you to win the close matches. It helps you to steal possession time of the match. It also helps you to close the gap on the better athletes who are better athletes than you are, and it helps you to close the maturity gap. So if you're a middle school kid and you're wrestling kids who look like they're 17 and you still look like a little a 9-year-old tubby kid, hey, it's frustrating, right? The maturity hasn't set in yet. Or if you're a high school freshman and you're wrestling a lot of juniors and seniors, or same goes for the college guys, hey, leg riding is the best way to start beating those kids who are more mature and or older than you. Third, I would pick my bet. You need a weapon. You need a weapon on top and a weapon on your feet specifically. Bottom wrestling, yes, you need a weapon, but a lot of our bottom wrestling getting away is a feel, and it depends on our opponent. And just a lot of live wrestling with very workout partners is usually how you develop bottom. But from a detailed technical, from a technique perspective, and being more detailed oriented of positions, top and bottom. And top should be leg riding. So let's just consider our feet, or rather top and your feet, right? Bottom is a feel. So technique specific, we're talking about on our feet and on top. Top, you should be leg riding. So on our feet, you should master your best setup and your best leg attack. You want a weapon. There's a phrase, we don't want to be a one-move wrestler, but we need one move. You need something that you feel like, hey, if my life depended on me getting a takedown, I could get to it, right? I have a post single leg, and I really don't think anybody in America can stop it. They might stop it once or twice, but they let their guard down, or they blink an eye for 1 second, I'm in. I'm a completely dangerous wrestler, and you want one of those. Fourth, you want to study the sports psychology side of wrestling and individual sports like wrestling. So my YouTube channel is a good place to go to. Also, look at there's some great books out there. My book's actually great. Actually, I'm bragging, I guess, but it's all sports psychology and tricks and how to parent and coach athletes, as well as how to be an athlete and think and wrap your brain around sport. I've had wrestlers from around the nation who said my book has completely changed their whole wrestling career. But besides that, I like The Mindful Athlete is a great one. The Inner Game of Tennis, even though it's about tennis, it still talks about allowing your subconscious mind to take over. How about just going to YouTube and TED Talks and just Googling things like, or searching for things like pulling the trigger, overcoming performance anxiety, peak performance in sports. I mean, anything like that. It's going to unbelievably help your wrestling. Okay, so there's 4 things that I would do to set my wrestling on fire. I'll repeat. Number 1, emphasize winning and get good at it. Practice it, study it, and start problem solving towards it. And you do that in practice. Secondly, become a monster leg rider. 3rd, study peak performance. And the 4th one, I guess I'm out of order, but master your best setup to your best leg attack. Those 4 things will set your career on fire. Good luck.